How's it going, guys? Welcome to TheBlueShifting, and welcome to SeaBed Episode 1. Now, I'm gonna give a little preface to what this game is and what it's all about, and kind of why we're covering it. So, first off, I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to Fruitbat Factory, who are the English distributors of this game in the United States. They actually contacted me personally and gave me a review copy of this game. They specifically told me they wanted me to make content for this game if it was something that I thought would fit the tone of my channel, which is very gracious of them. And so of course I need to let you know that they gave me a copy of the game, and they were very kind and supportive about it, and that means a lot to someone like me who is kind of a nobody. I'm very small. I'm still I'm building an audience. I'm working on things, and to be able to have support from publishers like that is a really big deal to me. So thank you for Fruitbat Factory. I look forward to continuing to work together on things. Now, secondly, of course, this is going to be a first for my channel. So, well, kind of. It's probably going to be the first overt version of this, and that's called. It's going to be. This is a Yuri type of story. In other words, that's a story where two girls are having a romantic, building a romantic relationship. Now, don't click away quite yet. If you have the tendency to avoid those types of stories, or if that's something that you may find yourself uncomfortable with, I mean, I totally understand. Everyone's different, and everyone's got their own deals, and I'm not going to try and get very political about this kind of stuff ever, really. But here's the thing I just wanted to say. If, for some reason, these types of stories are things you may not have experienced before, or you may find yourself a little uncomfortable with, just bear in mind that just no matter what your personal beliefs are on certain subjects like this, stories are meant to help us understand points of view that we don't typically live. So, if this is an issue for you, I'd invite you to watch things like this, and to read stories from the perspective of somebody who lives a lifestyle that you don't quite understand, or don't quite, get. Maybe you think it's weird, maybe you think it's, it could be even against, your personal beliefs, what have you. I find that we tend to forget that people are people, and that just because something is political now doesn't mean that the feelings involved aren't real. That's the weirdest part to me. I've had a lot of experience talking to people who are very traditional in their views of relationships and marriage, and there's nothing wrong per se with that, except for the fact that we're taking something that's not just about it's not like building code. And it's not like tariffs on certain goods being sent between the borders of countries. That's all well and good, but those aren't involving emotions. And the emotions people feel are very real. And the attraction that people have with each other is very real. I would argue that it's just as strong no matter what. And so, if for some reason this is a subject that makes you uncomfortable, I'd invite you to go ahead and watch this series. Not just to get you to stick around. By all means, do what you want. But I just want you to feel and understand that I'm going to be taking this from an approach of where, this is going to be an opportunity for you to learn something you don't know, or to experience ideas that you've never considered before. So we'll see exactly what happens. And I don't know, this round was probably not necessary. I have a feeling that people who are versed in visual novels probably already okay with some of these ideas, just because visual novels cover them so often. And like I said, Sound of Drop Fall into Poison was one of I think it was my first visual novel on this channel, had very strong tendencies towards Yuri, but once again, that was more focused on a horror story and about the bond between two friends. There was implications that there might have been a stronger bond than just a friendship between the main characters, but this one is definitely going to be more focused on the development of that relationship. So anyway, I'm not going to rant anymore. Just wanted to give you an FYI because it is a little different from something I normally do. And if you don't want to watch it, that's fine, but I wanted to explain why I feel like it's something that is worth watching, no matter how you feel. And it's something that's going to be talked about in the future, I'm sure. Because one of the things that visual novels, anime, and other media, especially from Japan, tends to like to do is they tend to explore alternative or usual lifestyles / themes And so it's going to happen. And that's fine. Actually, I'm really excited. I think it could be a really powerful story. And I think that we're going to enjoy this a lot. I mean, sometimes you can kind of see the quality of a visual novel that's on the lower side of the... What am I talking about? Doesn't have the production value of some of the others we're covering on the channel. And that's kind of what Fridays are about anyway, is kind of highlighting some of these smaller developers. And this falls into that category a little bit, though I think it might be very, very detail-oriented. So, let's experience it together. Alright, well, that's an intro just done. Thank you for listening for that. Now let's get to the main game. I also have a feeling I'm going to get some of my delightful, horrific voice acting, so hooray! The light from the round moon broke into countless rays, wavering as it drew back. There you go. My head felt empty, as though it was submerged in water. Kind of feels like that right now. I got a little bit of a cold. My eyelids felt exceedingly heavy, and so did my entire body, languidly sinking into the bed. Even in the darkness, I could saw Sachiko, my childhood friend, was right there next to me. I'd known her for 23 years. Holy crap, that's a long childhood friendship. I was 28 now, which meant I first met her when I was 5. Oof, very, very watered down. I finally moved that year. Our new house is only a 30-minute drive down from the mountain to the old place with a large supermarket behind it. So this is Takako. There were no shops around where kids could spend their allowance, save for an occasional moving stall. Back in the day, I thought the new place was a huge city. It was far from the truth. We had a few buildings that exceeded 5 stories. You could see both edges of our town as well from the factory and from the sea, factory at the sea from the northern mountain. Okay, kind of odd wording there, but that's like the town I grew up in pretty much. It's like, it felt really big when I was a kid, but in reality, it's really small. But the facts were that fewer rice fields and more buildings compared to where I came from made it seem like a bustling city to my child's mind. On the day we moved, my mother drove back and forth between the city and the country many times, and got into the back seat of the car with the last of our luggage. Initially, we took the same road we did to reach my kindergarten, but once we passed it, the roads turned fresh and alien. And seeing how we kept driving along the river, I somehow thought that perhaps I could make it to the countryside on foot. Not that it mattered. As I lost myself in thought, I barely even noticed when we finally reached our destination. As our car blasted the few unfortunate pebbles off the parking lot, my mother told me that we had arrived. And, you know, it's funny, because, like, I moved when I was about this age, too. But it was a 3-day trip, not an afternoon drive. The parking lot was positioned right in front of our new home, its white lines, denoting where the car should stand, curiously slanted. Glancing out the rear window of the car, I spotted a red 4-story apartment building. Back then, my child's mind failed to comprehend why anyone would want to draw those lines slanted. Now that I think about it, it was probably to make it easier to park cars driving in reverse gear. I really don't know what she's describing here, honestly. I'm sure if I saw it, I'd be like, oh, okay, but I really have no idea. However, I moved from that apartment before I could get my own car, so I never had the chance to test if it was worth sacrificing 1 or 2 potential parking spaces for a bit of extra comfort. That's our new home, said my mother. Are you still sulking over it? She let out a sigh that forced my attention at the view outside, refusing to look her in the eye. You'll make new friends here right away. What if I don't? Look how many houses there are. Plenty of children living here, I'm sure. There's a park behind the building. You can go take a look. My mother turned the ignition key to stop the engine and got out of the car. She then opened the door on the opposite side of me and began unloading our bags. Not begging to unload our bags. I suddenly noticed a small girl walking in front of our new house. She was carrying a red basket and a trowel. Aww. I wonder if it was supposed to be a red bucket, not a basket. She circled around the building, disappearing behind it. As I got out of the car, I started running after her. I heard my mother's voice from behind. Hey, Takako, where are you going? I'll go look at the park. The fateful meeting of intertwined friends. Prologue. Clover Design Office. Interesting. The music, I have to admit, is pretty nice. Very atmospheric. Okay, keep going. Interesting. I saw her jet black locks flicker through the slits of my half-closed eyes. Sachiko turned to me and as I extended my hand, her long black hair swaying in the air. She gave me her hand in response. I could feel moist warmth from her palm. Even without looking, I could feel her familiar slender fingers intertwining with mine. As I absent-mindedly gazed at her, she parted her lips. Aww. Wait, are they supposed to be like 28 here? What are you thinking? I tried to remember when we last held hands like this. As I did, the memories of how we went to the festival came flooding into my mind. What's it? The sound sounds really weird. It sounds like it's underwater. Which festival? The one where we went back in kindergarten. Oh, or was it elementary school? The same one where we got all those goldfish. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the last time we held hands. Do you remember how many fish we got? Was it 20 or so? It didn't go that high. I think it was either 18 or 19. When I came back after looking around some other shops, I found your bowl so full of fish I could barely fit in anymore. You bought me a caramel apple back then, right? Did I? Honestly, I was more shocked at how eager you were to keep catching goldfish, despite your scooping paper already being in shambles. Yeah, that's something I would love to see in real life, but from my understanding, it's one of those things where they give you a chance to get prizes that are in the water, but they give it like a scoop out of paper that like it disintegrates almost immediately, so you only have a chance to get a couple. It's kind of a clever way to like limit the amount of prizes kids can win in a little like free game or something. I was waiting for it to dry up. Does that actually work? I mean, it'll just get wet the moment you stick it back in the water. Sounds like a waste of time to me. Patience is exactly what you need to win that game. She considered the space above me for a second. Something wrong? You said it was around 20, but I'm pretty sure we only bought one bag with us on the way back. You're only allowed to take up to 3 with you. Oh. Well, that really was a waste of time then. But I could choose the cutest and most energetic ones. Good for you. There's something fishy going on here. Like, there's something about it that doesn't seem very right. Like, for instance, like if they're really, really close, yet they talk about how it's been a while since they've held hands. Like, something's not right. One lived for quite a long time. I still remember having it around the time I got to middle school. Ah, was it the black one with the long tail? Yeah, it lived so long I even gave it a name. Was it Belle or something? Was it? Didn't you say it reminded you of a temple's bell? Ah! Don't ah me. Oh, yeah. I remember there was always being one goldfish in the water tank, but it disappeared right alongside the tank itself. Did it get sick? I think it was mold or something. One day I realized that it had some sort of weed growing from its scales. What the heck? It's getting creepy. I tried plucking it out, but... Sachiko knitted her eyebrows. They grew right back. I think it suffocated in the end. Is that really mold? I found a book about goldfish disease sometime later. It said a weed doesn't grow on a live fish, but in the case of goldfish, it can grow on mold that gets stuck between its scales. The book even explained how to fix it. Would have been nice if you'd had the book earlier. Yeah. closed my eyes and listened to the silence, but it was so overwhelming I ended up opening my mouth again. You think that goldfish represented its master for being unable to cure even a simple disease like that? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know either. I loved that goldfish, though. I haven't kept another fish since. I liked how elegant it looked when it swam with its long tail behind it. When it got at the festival, it wasn't that long, you know? But then it grew really fast, as goldfish do. It was always different from the others. I see. And the music there was weird too. Like, it kind of gave me the jitters. The usual spasm woke me up. Ooh. See? Once again, taking a bit of a dark turn. My ears were ringing. Laying on top of my bed in the fetal position, I prepared myself to endure its even loudening sound. Ugh. I checked the clock next to my pillow. It hadn't even been an hour since I went to sleep. Ugh. Ugh, this is weird. The room was weakly illuminated by a lone light bulb. Soon enough, the string next to my light bulb entered my vision. As I stared intently at the plastic knob at the end of my string, I began to feel like it started to move. This sounds like a fever dreamy type stuff. I had a time once when I was really sick when I was younger, and on the ceiling, like the kind of decoration they kind of went for, the texturing at the top, would look like these long brush strokes, like that covered the whole ceiling. And actually looked kind of nice, like it would look like waves or something. But I got really sick once, and I remember I was going crazy. Well, like I was literally going crazy, but like it was driving me nuts because I was laying in bed, looking up, and I would look at the ceiling. And where like the different brushstrokes would meet, it would look like the paint was moving towards each other and then vanishing into nothing. Like, the closest thing I can imagine is like watching tectonic plates on fast forward, but like it was doing it constantly all day, and I was just stuck in bed because I was so sick. But like it was driving me so crazy because I knew the ceiling wasn't moving, but it felt like it was moving, and so I had to try and like stare away from the ceiling all the time, and like. I hate that. I hate feeling so sick that you start seeing stuff. It really messes with me. I mean, it messes with everybody, but it's like, I think that's one of my big fears is being crazy. And so seeing things that really make me feel like I'm crazy, it's very disconcerting. Oh. Because now I get this feeling that this story is not going to be just this super sweet love story like I was thinking it was going to be. It grew bigger and bigger, drawing closer to me at a terrible speed before finally disappearing. Yeah, she's having some kind of episode. Ooh. I looked away, only to be met with a noise even more unbearable. Wait, why am I getting Doki Doki flashbacks? I closed my eyes and covered my ears, stiffening my entire body, waiting for the storm to pass. I remembered a surefire way to fall asleep quickly, a trick taught to me by a friend. I had to imagine myself floating on the surface of an empty sea. Yet right now, a storm was raging in my personal sea, making it less than an ideal place for relaxation. Man, this noise. I'm turned it down in editing, I'm sure, but oh my gosh, it's really loud. I felt sick. Tremendously so. Oof, that was very unpleasant in so many ways. Okay, well, we're back, I guess. I turned the page. I clenched the book so the wind blowing between the school building and the concrete wall wouldn't flip the pages back again. I had my own special space behind the campus, a gloomy little place that always felt a bit damp. Still, few people ever ventured there, so I could always trust it to be silent. The door to the emergency exit behind me suddenly opened. The girl that came through approached me and leaned over to inspect what I had been reading. So, not an uncommon occurrence. Found you. Do you want something? I shifted my gaze to the tall schoolgirl. Takako's familiar face was a mere centimeters away from mine. She carried some water in her cupped palms. It seeped through her slender fingers, a few drops traveling down her white arms peeking out of the skimpy summer school uniform. Adjusting the position of my glasses, I considered Takako's face. Even bowing down, she seemed very tall. Okay, wait. So last time, I think I mixed up the voices right here. So I think we're actually getting it from both of their perspectives, which is interesting. Because if I remember correctly, Takako is the one who was moving, and the girl who we were talking about in the beginning, and now we're seeing it from Sachiko, because like now it's purple. So I'm going to try and keep that in mind. It looks like it's going to be... It's kind of cool to be switching perspectives. You can't just get enough of the place like this. You can't just get enough of the place like this, can you? First it was on the second school building's emergency staircase, then behind the judo hall, and later in the library's veranda where no one ever goes. How do you even find these places? Makes me wonder if you're some kind of different species compared to the rest of us. Takako drew away from me, leaving a trail of droplets behind her until she finally unloaded her pail full of water on a bush with white clovers. I doubt it really needs your watering. Well, it's just that otherwise it wouldn't feel like it's mine. When she had finished watering the plant, she swept back her long twin tails in a single irritated motion. She only adopted that hairstyle near the beginning of this month, and she appeared to have trouble making both tails the same length. Did you know that the Japanese name for the white clover comes from the fact that it was used as cushioning material for packing glassware? Interesting. Oh? Don't you think it would be way cooler if your parcels were filled with white clovers instead of bubble wrap? I guess so. Though you shouldn't write off bubble wrap like that. It's pretty great to play around with when you're bored. Very true. Girl after my own heart. Yeah. You looked up its name? I imagined it might have some deeper meaning since it was a present from you. It doesn't. I see. By the way, the weather's great today, so what are you doing reading in a place like this? I'm here precisely because the weather's good. If it wasn't, I would be at the library instead. If you keep sitting in a murky place all this time, you're gonna rot alive. That's not how the real world works. I mean, like, mentally. I won't do that either. Speaking of which, your cousin Anne has psychic powers, right? Well, okay. That seems random. When I told her how you keep reading books in places like this, who gave you permission to spread rumors about me? She said that they all give her shivers, as in she can't even get close to any of them. And this one spot behind campus is like the worst of them all. I guess that's why I never feel lonely around here, even by myself. Hey now, that's not how a normal person should react to that. So anyway, I actually went out of the way to find a better place for you than this. It's just as quiet. Oh really? Excuse me. You can actually get some sunlight there, and a pleasant breeze to boot. Does such a convenient place really exist? I'll show you. So we have like the upbeat kind of happy go-getter girl, and then we have the really down to earth, lost in the clouds, kind of nerdy bookworm. I can get that. So Takako is the girl we started with, and she is the more upbeat and happy one. I struck a bookmark in between the pages with a sigh and closed my book and followed Takako. We began climbing the staircase to the school building number 4. Wow, okay. It's weird when it does the transitions like that. Going all the way to the top of the 4th floor and beyond, until we reached the door leading to the roof. A steel lock was keeping it shut, though. Keep an eye out for anyone coming. Takako drew close to the small window and began fiddling with the lock using a hairpin she produced from her pocket. Not illegal in any way. After she was done with that, she grabbed the frame of the window and started shaking it, filling the corridor with a clattering noise. I let out a final loud rattle before the lock sprung out of place with a click. Takako opened the small window and, planting her foot on the windowsill, jumped through. She turned around and extended a hand, signaling me to follow her. 'Cause this seems illegal. Frowning, I exhaled a sigh, but I didn't face her in the slightest. I sheepishly gave her my hand and, after taking a step on the windowsill, was pulled outside. A cool breeze swept across the roof. I could feel it caressing my hair as I closed my eyes, unable to stand the brightness. Aww. She does look like kind of crazy. You weren't lying about the weather. I opened my eyes to see Takako looking around the roof. Right? So what do you think? Well, it's not bad. That much I can give you. But you are sure no one will come? Well, I did lock the door, so... I moved to the deeper end of the roof, close to the area behind campus, sat down on one of the benches there, and opened my book. Nice. This actually... It looks very stereotypical roof, but I'm sure that that's on purpose. With our school being located in the mountainside, I could oversee most of our port town and even the sea in the distance. Sounds nice. The blue sky extended from one edge of the sea to the next. Takako shifted her gaze from the athletics field to me. Remember the baseball field right in front of our club room? Do you ever hear the story about how the ground is soft between the home plate and the pitcher's mound? Can't say I have. Takako's facial expression told me she was about to start a really amusing story. I merely gave her a sideways glance and returned to my book without a moment's delay. We all tried digging up the ground yesterday. What do you think we found? I have no idea. We didn't really expect to find anything at first, but when we actually dug the hole, we came upon these cartons of boxed milk. Wait, what? That's weird. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she made a broad gesture, trying to convey the amount they had found. Who buried all that crap there? No idea. I guess someone who didn't like milk. You can just flush it down the toilet or something. Who I go through all the trouble of trying to bury it? Takako placed a finger on her lower lip. Then maybe it was a trap or something? Why would you fill your trap with milk? Well, it's funny, for starters. While to that, you'd be soaked in white goop. Why that, Takako? Let me see. I want to see. Okay, so like the arrow's still green. So, like, okay, so I think I read it wrong. Like, oh, this is gonna be tough to keep up track with who's who. So I think I read that out of order. So I think this one is Takako, because it seems more like her line. Well, it's funny for starters. Falling into that, you'd be soaked in white goop. But you said the ground had only become soft, right? That doesn't sound like someone could fall into it. I don't know. Makes me wonder what they really wanted to achieve. Got any ideas, Sachi? A ritual to express one's hatred of milk, perhaps? Bashu 3 Milk Harbor of Woe, Takako uttered the words with fake solemnity. I'm also noticing too, like, so there's a green arrow here. I think there's a purple arrow for Sachiko, but it's hard to see. The cool breeze shuffled across the roof again. I could hear the clamor of students from the athletics ground. See, okay, now that's a blue play. Our class is using the basketball hoop. Oh no, this is, okay, once again, wrong voice. Our class is using the basketball hoop. Do you want to play with us there sometime? No. That's my answer too. No. Why? It's not like you can't play. I don't like getting sweaty or dirtying my clothes. Then what about the gym? I guess I could play hide and seek if you're interested. Yeah, right. That's just an excuse for you to return to that gloomy old place behind campus. I'm on to you. Takako sat down next to me on the bench with a sigh. What are you reading? She posed that question to me following a brief silence. I raised the hand that held my paperback so the cover would be right in front of Takako's eyes. She considered it for a few moments. You always keep reading old stuff. I didn't react, so she continued. You don't read any of the recent bestsellers. I prefer older books. It was probably because my mother's home had a bunch of them lying around. As a child, I spent hours reading my grandmother's room every time I went to visit. But one day, all those books vanished, along with the whole shelf. They said they wanted to make the room feel more spacious. Now they weren't easily accessible anymore, I felt even stronger urge to read them. So since I didn't care much for anything other than the plot when I was little, I couldn't remember neither the titles nor the authors. All I knew is that they were in reddish-brown case that also served as appendices. That they lined 3 rows of the bookshelf, and that all of them were written by different authors. When I asked my grandmother, it turned out all the books belonged to my distant uncle. Not even they knew much about them. I tried asking my mother as well, but that didn't yield any results either. She wasn't exactly thrilled with the idea of me reading those kinds of books in the first place. Thanks to Takako's intent questions, I ended up remembering that particular frustrating episode of my life and was completely taken out of the world of the book I was reading. Aww. Excuse me. I get that, but I was just wondering exactly what you like about them. What kind of books do you like in general? The kind that make you want to keep reading, even if there's something gotten into your eye. But Takako probably wouldn't be satisfied with such a vague answer. What about you? I like whatever's interesting, I guess. I thought you wanted to know what made those books interesting. I like the kind that make you want to keep reading, even if something had gotten in your eye, Takako said. I spontaneously respond with a frown. I can feel my entire face having a "Are you for real?" written all over it. So, what exactly do you like about all the books, Shachi? Their atmosphere, I guess. I'm getting Yuri vibes. I see. As I remained silent, Takako added that she felt the same way. The world they take part in is different enough from ours to feel fresh. Yeah, I suppose that's true. I'm also curious about how society works before I was born. I think they had a lot more things back then. What do you mean? What kind of things? Well, like politics and economics and movies and music, I guess. Isn't that because you listen to pop music that always sounds the same? Well, I guess that could be it, but in a way I see it, the past was a lot more chaotic than the present. They had tons of different thoughts and came up with a bunch of different ideas. I'd say the world is just as chaotic right now. We probably just don't know it because we're still children. That could be true. Although I had to agree with the notion of being curious about the world of the past. I loved listening to stories of my grandparents, and they in turn loved telling them, introducing me to a whole host of new worlds and feelings I'd never known before. Like the title of a song I'd never heard about, or this accident I never knew happened. Even if I listened to the songs now, I wouldn't be feeling the same things my grandparents did in their time. Listening to stories like that made me feel something important was in me, and fastened shut with a heavy lid. Takako nodded in agreement. She said that she must have been curious. It must have been curiosity. I answered with a sigh. It's just like that hole I told you about. Could you not liken my hobbies to rotten milk? I shot an exasperated look at Takako's satisfied expression before returning to my book. Is that book fun? I feel like you've already asked that. Hey, all you told me was that you like old books. Now I'm asking you about this one specifically. Well, I guess it's not bad. Oh, yeah. Have you finished that book I lent you? I'm still reading it. I'm about halfway through, I think. Ah, she must be up at the part where... wait. Maybe I was more like a quarter it, actually. I see. Withdrawing her face from mine, she leaned against the bench. Something's flying over there. Takako narrowed her eyes, looking somewhat far in the sky. Very pixelated bird. There was a large bird sailing through the blue canopy above us. It's a black kite. Someone's flying a kite? That's a bird, you know. Think it's gonna go over the mountain? I don't think so. Isn't it just looking for prey? I had this weird dream the other day. Like, I went beyond the mountains surrounding our town, and all I found was just endless grass and shallow puddles of water. A huge marsh, basically. Have you ever been outside this town? No. Maybe that's why. Those mountains sometimes look like a prison holding us inside. Well, you should just go wherever you want once you grow up. I turn the page. Let's go overseas then. Good luck with that. You're coming too! Sounds like a pain in the neck. Takako let out a chuckle. I know you actually want to go. And why would you think that? Well, I've known you for a long time. Huh. Don't underestimate your childhood friends. Takako's raised voice prompted me to instinctively cover my ears, nearly causing me to drop the book I've been reading. Why did you rephrase that? Did you actually think that line sounded cool? Takako's cheeks flushed with a light hue of red. That's why you repeated yourself? Not really. The sun rays dancing across the blue sky warmed my exposed knees. We only have 5 classes today, right? Seeing how it's Wednesday. So let's go to a movie after school. Or you can do karaoke if you want. I've been having a sore throat lately, so I can't do karaoke. Any good movies on right now? Well, there's, you know, that. The one we talked about last week. I've never heard of a movie called That. It's that, it's on the tip of my tongue. So what is it? Ah, you keep urging me, so I forgot now. Hey, don't make it my fault. You never even knew it in the first place, did you? Well, you have time to remember until school's over. So far, it's really interesting. I have no clue what's happening. Do you remember the first song we did last time we went to karaoke? I do. I was on my bike heading home when I got a traffic light. So I checked if no one was around and started singing it by myself, only to realize there was a biker parked right behind me. Boy, was that embarrassing. Is that so? But I'm not going to karaoke today. I have a sore throat. I wasn't trying to say I wanted to go. So you just wanted to tell the story? Yeah. I see. Good for you. Interesting. So, okay, so the Tish menu's been unlocked. I can access your entire screen. Tip 1, Nagasaki room 008 has been unlocked. Okay, so my opinion of this so far, I think it's a multi-layered game. I don't know if we have much of a choice system yet. I'm guessing if we have to have tips, there's going to be something going on. But yeah, so I think what we've seen so far is we're the story being told in a very unstable timeline type of path, where we started at the very, very beginning with her being 28 and having a memory of her first move. Then we had a bit of a flash into some kind of like psychosis state, I would guess, where she's kind of crazy and having trouble with reality. Maybe even in a hospital. Kind of like the room 1008 kind of is implying, honestly. And then we go to them being in, like, I'm guessing middle school, and having their really long conversation about, like, it's kind of displaying the different personalities. And it's cool because we're seeing a very stark personality difference between the two, but they obviously really care for each other. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see where this is going. I'm really excited to pursue this. Unfortunately, it's one of those ones that looks like it takes, like, there's kind of something I've seen fairly commonly for smaller studio visual novels, and that's where they make the backgrounds by taking real pictures and then they like processes them through this like weird autofill watercolor type of paneling, and it makes it more like drawing, which I can agree can save on time, but it's not as visually interesting as having like original assets. I know it's hard though. I mean, especially if you're making your first visual novel, like you're not going to have a budget. So it's more about what the story is. And so far, it's very confusing. So we're going to have to work together on this one to figure things out. Is there something I missed while I was going through there? It'd be nice to have some help on picking out some stuff. But so far, I've pretty much got the two characters nailed down as to who we're following and what's going on. Yeah, like I said, I'm getting some strong, like, Doki Doki / Yuri story vibes of like there's some kind of mental issue going on, but we don't actually know who. I thought we were filing Takako when we were in the crazy part, but I have no idea. Guess we'll find out. But anyway, thank you for joining me for this, and let's see what happens in the future of this, because like it's honestly more complicated already than I thought it was going to be. So I'm kind of excited. I think that there's some interesting potential here because if it is involving like some kind of like mental disorder, like they can bring up a lot of questions, like are they both real? Like that's the first thing I start thinking of is like, what if one of them is actually a fake? Like we got the weird thing where like the one girl's cousin like was apparently like magical or psychic or something, and that she would avoid school, like places in the school because of like spirits that they have. Like, so what if one of the girls is actually like a ghost or something? That'd be really interesting. But I don't know. We've got a lot to explore with this one, so thank you so much. This is our new Friday series for the next little while. I don't think it's very long, so once again, I doubt we're going to do more than like 10 episodes of this, but we'll have to see. Anyway, so, yeah, let me know what your thoughts were about this, and I guess if you have other shorter visual novels that you're interested in seeing on the Friday slot of the channel, just let me know. I go through them a lot faster, so I usually want to pick them up as quickly as I can. But yeah. And it doesn't have to be too short, but like I don't want it to get overwhelmed by large projects all the time. Like I've got Monday and Wednesday with the gargantuan title like Level Up and Steins Gate, you know. It just makes sense to have something a little smaller on the side too. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions or if you're concerned about anything. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being part of the channel. It's fantastic having you guys around. And until the next video you watch with me or whatever you have to see me in next, I'll see you there.